When playing from lead sheets, you can sound like a beginner, painfully hacking away at the chords, or like someone who's actually making music and having fun doing it. This step-by-step lead sheet guide is great for pianists who are new to lead sheets or newer to the piano, or classically trained pianists who aren't used to this style of music reading. This is the final part of the ultimate roadmap to piano chords, and from your comments so far, I know that these have been helpful, which makes me very, very happy. If you're new to this channel and series, my name is Susan, and if you ever have any questions about chords, chord symbols, or anything related to chords, you might need to backtrack and watch some previous lessons to catch up. Today, I have 6 practical steps for you to follow as you play from lead sheets. But first, we have to do a quick pre-step, how to interpret different parts of lead sheets. Psst. The tune is written in the treble clef with the chords written above the staff. The chords are lined up with certain melody notes. In the first measure, we see an F and D minor chord, so you'll play an F chord on beat 1 and a D minor chord on beat 3. Sometimes you'll see a measure without a chord written above it, and that usually means that whatever chord was in the previous measure still applies. Everything else, the key signature, time signature, repeat signs, they all are the same and work the same as in regular piano music. Now, lead sheets are loose guides. I like to think of them as a really great in-between to notated music and improvisation. So if you're trying to get from the traditional notation to a point where you can improvise, lead sheets might be a good in-between to help you get there. These 6 steps I give you today are just a starting point, so feel free to divert from them once you get the hang of how this works. Step 1, learn the melody. Figure out the notes, rhythm, and fingering that you want to use. You want to become familiar with the tune and how to play it before adding chords, especially if you're a beginner to lead sheets. Step 2, play the melody and bass notes together. Don't worry about the chords, just play the bass note from each chord. This way sounds decent, so if you're a beginner, you might want to stop here. Step 3, figure out the chords. Take the time to figure out what notes are in every chord. Do some research if you need to, like revisiting earlier parts of this series. You don't need to be able to play every chord yet. Step 4, block the left-hand chords alone and then with the melody. Most people tend to start here right away, and then they get stuck because it's really information overload. But if you follow the steps up to this point, you already know how to play the melody, you have an idea of where your left hand needs to move to for every chord, and you've already analyzed the chords. Now, during this step, it's very important that you don't develop a start-stop bad habit. And you might be like, well, I'm eventually not going to have to stop before a chord after I practice it more. But I'm here to tell you that that thought is a trap. You're basically teaching yourself that you should stop before every new chord. And this will cause you to stop before every chord, even if you don't need to, because it's already so ingrained that you just can't get rid of it. Or you won't even hear that you're stopping because you're just so used to playing it that way. The better solution is to go at a slow enough tempo from the very beginning that you don't even need to stop in the first place. Imagine a hurdler who stops before every single hurdle to prepare to jump. Sure, they'd be able to clear the obstacle, but they'd be very slow. If you watch a hurdler in slow motion, you'll see they prepare way before the actual hurdle because they know it's coming up and that's how they've trained. Go at a slow enough tempo so that you have time to think ahead to what's coming without affecting your steady pulse. Also, for this step, you might consider leaving out the more complicated elements to a chord at first, or even just play the outline of the chord. For example, the G minor 7th chord can be played just as a G minor chord at first, or even a G and D. Same with the F dominant 7th. Oftentimes, the color note of the chord is in the melody anyway, so you'll still get the flavor of the harmony, and then you can plan to add the complicated parts later. Finally, when blocking the full chord, always choose to play higher on the piano when you can, because chords that are played in the lower register tend to get too muddy to really hear the tonality or color of the chord. Step 5. Choose one chord pattern to practice. Pick the easiest one you can think of and stick with it until you have it. If you do this, each new and more challenging pattern that you choose later on will feel easier and easier. This is better than choosing a ton of different patterns to try all at once and not feeling like you've mastered any of them. Step 6. Begin to experiment. Remember that the point of playing from lead sheets is to add your own spin to a tune. Once you're able to stick to a few chord patterns, get creative. Add some rhythms to give it a totally different vibe. Practice giving the right hand some chord duties while still playing the melody. Have both hands play a chord pattern while humming or singing the melody. And try adding a walking bass line or other passing tones. A great way to get ideas is to use actual piano repertoire as your inspiration. Even if those ideas don't really fit the mood of the tune or the piece, it's still fun to try out and apply. As you experiment, remember that you don't have to play every single note in every single chord. Simple is sometimes better, so let your ear be your guide. And pulse is more important than playing every single chord or every single note. Another random tip is to become a member of Piano Roadmap. I have a newly refreshed website, and to celebrate, I'm giving away 1 month free to one lucky commenter on this video. And that's all you have to do. I'll announce the winner on Tuesday, September 24th. But wait, there's another way to win with my new referral program. If you refer one friend that hasn't been a member before and they join, you get 1 month free. And that's a win-win because your friend can use code INTRO2024 to receive their first month for only $25, and then you get 1 month totally free. The Piano Roadmap membership includes on-demand piano lessons that follow the Faber Adult Method books 1 and 2. Book 1 is complete, and I'm working on book 2. So right now I have through unit 5 available. Now these lessons go in depth, page by page, through the Faber books in a handy calendar format to keep you on track. Although it's still easy to go at your own pace as needed. Aside from the material in the Faber books, there's what I call supplementary material. So this includes extra pieces to play for fun, technique exercises, theory, ear training, and other mini courses on material like Czerny and late beginner tutorials. There's a lot there already with a lot more to come. And with a 7-day money-back guarantee, there's really no reason to not give it a try. Anyway, that brings the ultimate roadmap to piano chords to an end. Thank you for being here throughout these 7 lessons. That was a lot of fun for me. I hope it was for you as well. Happy practicing, and I'll see you next time.